welcome to Burn Pilates. My name is Lydia. I'm a big believer that a lot of people have props that they either bought during the pandemic or they've had sitting around in their home gym or they thought they'd use more of that they aren't using to their max, which is one of the reasons why I love including props in the Pilates practice classes that I teach. Today I'm going to be leading you through a foam roller Pilates class. That being said, you do not need a foam roller to get in benefits from this class. The foam roller is added on as extra. Use what you have. The foam roller will be used for support. It will also be used for certain movements to gain movement, articulation through the body. You will be able to customize your class, as always, here on my channel, using what you have with where you are. Set your mat up, keep some water close by, and let's get right into our mat flow foam roller Pilates class. Welcome. Setting up standing on our mat, using the foam roller, and of course, if it doesn't have the same amount of height as mine does for my own height and balance, feel free to use a wall, a chair, or any object that can help support you. We're gonna start with the left leg standing. The right leg is going to come and stretch forward. You wanna have your object of support somewhere where your right leg has some space to move and also where your left leg is behind your arms in a stretched out position. Just note, if this is where you are and your elbows are bent, you're much too close. And if your butt's out and you're leaning forward, you're much too far away. So just station yourself accordingly to find your own alignment. Lightly bending into the left leg, ribs connected over hips. You're gonna pick up your right leg, turn it out. Tap your left heel. Have your right heel right against your object, base of chair, wall, or foam roller. And from here, opening up your hip, transferring your weight forward, stretching your right leg all the way up behind you. As you come around, wrapping your right leg around your object, supporting your hips, finding a vertical, hips stacked under ribs, shoulders over hips. Stretch on out, reach, extend, and inhale, return. What we're doing is finding balance on that left standing leg. We're training glute flexion from the right butt, which will in turn extend and stretch and open up the right hip. Two things to take note of for your own body as you start to warm up. Number one is, as you stretch your right leg back, you don't want to stretch it where you start to arch and where your back starts to go into any kind of banana or half crescent moon shape. You definitely don't want to have your leg lifting up high. You're training your ribs to stabilize with your hips, neutral pelvis, neutral spine, Pilates posture. The second thing that you want to check in is that your left leg always has and encompasses a micro bend in it. As we're in our standing support, you don't want to lock out and push your knee behind your heel. We want the hamstring and muscles to be in support of us. So I want you to train right away that feeling of balance coming from your glute, your hamstring, shoulders back and down. If ever you wanted to add on a bit of challenge, bring your hands to your hips. Don't move fast, move slow with intention, and focus on what's happening here in the front of this right hip. You have all the space in the front of your body, from your ribs to your hip bone, that you want to extend and turn on from the use of your obliques and transverse. Quickly note, if you're using a wall for support, you want to have your left hand on the wall, not the right, for obvious reasons. You want to have some movement room, some space to move. Check in also that as you're doing this move, if your left hand ends up behind you and you're using a wall, as you stretch your right leg, adjust your left hand with you so that you're never ending here with your left hand behind you. That's going to change your upper body posture. So just take note in terms of how you're working today with where you're working from. We're gonna go for a last wrap around here, warming up through the standing glute, the working leg, stretching that hip, turning on your external obliques, piriformis muscles, obliques and transverse. Keep your right leg back, roll your shoulders back and down, make sure your elbows are soft, and even take your hands up off of your foam roller or wall to give yourself a little more challenge in the balance. Take a full breath in, flex, and exhale, stretch your toes, increasing the length from the front of your right hip by contracting all the muscles in the back of your right leg, glute, hamstring, calf, all the way down to your foot. Just go for 2 more reps. Shoulders back, ribs knitted in. Deep breath in, And exhale, taking your foot all the way down underneath you. Shoulders roll back, legs stay long. If you need balance, use your foam roller or wall and start to lift and lower into a tendon stretch. If you feel good without any object to balance you, focus on keeping your ribs over top of your hips, lower down with control, lift. Full stretch of your muscles, activate your kneecaps, pull them up from your quadricep and hamstring activation. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Last set of 2, last one, come down. Setting up for the second side, taking your left leg, wrapping it around, right leg in a soft bend, neutral pelvis, neutral spine, full breath in, and slowly extending out. Making sure that right leg has a soft, light bend in it. As you stretch your left leg out, fully extend through that left hip, contract your glute. Very often you'll see me, if ever you take a class with me in studio and I'm working out with you, or we happen to be both in the same fitness class together, you'll see me often touch the parts of my body that I want to turn on because your muscles won't lie. The hips don't lie. If you don't feel that your muscle is tight, touch it and see for yourself. Because if you're out here and your butt is loosey-goosey, if your knee is bent, if your leg is kind of floppy through the foot and ankle, then no, you haven't turned on all your muscles. And this is the training that you need to start to foundationally commit to. How do I, as the trainee, how do I, as the person doing the movement, connect my body so that absolutely everything is working like the most efficient machine ever. Connecting in, deep breath in, little bend into the right leg. You don't want to lock out your standing leg because you don't want your weight to start to rest in your joints. You do want to stretch out your gesture movement leg entirely all the way out because there's no gravity on top of your joints from your body weight. You're just extending your muscles and training that the bones should be pulled up in support. Deep breath in and exhale. Again, if you have your hand on the wall, make sure it's in front of you, not behind you. You're training your ribs in relationship to your hips. So contrary to dance where sometimes we keep the back elevated and the left leg goes out and you have a sway in your spine, we don't want that. We want the torso, shoulders, ribs, hips, butt, all the way down to the leg to be in a long diagonal. Somebody could place a marble on the back of your head and it would roll off perfectly from that diagonal in space. Challenge yourself as you need, feel your weight transfer and just go for a couple more reps here. Just warming up through the hips, through the glutes, finding stability. What's nice about the foam roller is that it's light, so this could easily happen where the weight's transferring you forward, and it's a great way to really work and refine the technique of keeping your weight light in your balance. From here, sending your leg all the way out, choosing if you do want to balance, making sure the right knee is soft, flex, stretch, left toes long. You're not lifting for height, you're lifting for hold. You're lifting so you can find that stretch. Contract your left glute, knit your ribs in together. Go for a last set here of 3. Last 2, shoulders down and back, neck long. Last one, take your foot all the way underneath you. Using however you like, the foam roller, the floor, even the base of a chair to stretch, walk on back. I like using the foam roller because it allows my arms to stretch from my shoulder alignment, giving me the opportunity to push my chest through the arms, which will help not only open up your pecs, but stretch right into your upper back. Knees soft. Check in that you're not locking out, super important. If you lock out and your hips are behind your heels, that is not good for your joints. It's not good for the attachment of your hamstrings. You always want to have the alignment, heels, knees, and hips. Notice, heels, knees, hips, one line. You're not pushing away where you're off of your axis. I'll always try to show on camera visually what you don't want to have happen. So just know that I will exaggerate those positions. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're in it, but just to give a visual representation so that you can do a self-check for yourself. Slowly, smoothly, bend your knees to walk your body up. From here, grabbing your foam roller, taking your hands to either side of your roller, roll your shoulders down and back. Open up your legs into a parallel position, nice and wide, full stretch, like you're in a standing splits. Take a full breath in. On your exhale, bring your foam roller down towards your left shin. Touch it. Stretch out your right inner thigh, press on the ground, lift your body up, squeeze your glute. Same side, same stretch the right leg. Hips go back, foam roller goes down, arms come back up to shoulder height. Deep breath in and exhale. Make sure you're not twisting your upper body. You're lowering the foam roller down, keeping your shoulders square. Let's go for a last set of 2. All of these exercises and weight transfer help not only strengthen the hips, but they work in opposition where one side is stretching, one side is activating. Switch sides here. Continue on. Really focus on what you're feeling on both sides. As you lengthen your left thigh, you're pushing your left pinky toes into the floor to make sure that you are not completely leaning away. Your body weight is working from 2 legs. Hips go back, spine long. Deep breath in, collarbones wide. Exhale, full stretch. Don't go fast. Take this as an opportunity to train your opposition and to train your body to prepare it. A lot of times people that I train will tell me, oh my gosh, this is such an easy move. It's not meant to always be hard. It's meant to train your technique. Take your arms down, heel toe your way all the way in. Parallel position where your feet are stacked underneath your hip bones. Hip bones are in the front, not the sides. I will always indicate if you want to have your feet at the same width as your hips on the outside of your butt. Otherwise, hip bones, they are about nipple width apart. That is where you want to be. Knees are soft. Arms are long. From here, check that your spine right away has a good sense of length in a neutral pelvis where you're not tucking or rounding, nor are you arching out, locking your thighs. Check in with your back. Looking from left to right. Keeping your arms up. And with your foam roller, just giving a light bit of a push from either side to activate your chest. What's nice about the foam is that it's light enough to keep the hands fully gripped around without locking or trying to crunch your fingers. At the same time, check that your shoulders aren't rounding forward. You're not trying to give the foam roller to someone. You're pulling it back. It's a part of your body. Go for one more look from side to side and then setting up your neck and center. Keeping your shoulders down from your ears. Keep stretching out through your spine. Activate through your abs. Your ribs are over top of your hips. Your obliques are engaged. Your spine is long. Now, no different than if your back was against a wall. Your shoulders are plugged back. This is exactly as if you were on a carriage or on your mat. Your shoulders are not pushed forward. Super important. Keeping the position, you should already be working, even though all you're doing is holding this alignment. Take a full breath in. On your exhale, as you lift your arms up, go no higher than where you can keep your rib cage knitted together. Lower your arms down, lower than your shoulder height. Exhale, lift, lift, lift. Push into the foam roller. We're taking our chest through this chest expansion exercise, staying tall. The more you press into your foam roller through your hands, the more you'll activate through your lats and back. Exhale, neck is long. Go for a last set of 2. Just waking up your postural muscles. This is such a good exercise because so many people find it difficult to get their arms right next to their ears, especially holding an object that forces you to work in sync from both sides. Take a full breath in. Let's go for one more. Exhale, collarbones wide. You're gonna keep your foam roller or arms stretched however you're working today. Stretch your legs, pull your abs into engagement, work your glutes right away, stabilize your pelvis back to a lower and lift the heels tendon stretch. Make sure your knees aren't bending. Make sure your butt's not sticking out or sticking forward as you go up. You're not rocking onto your heels or pushing up where your knees bend. Sorry guys, I had to show you all the different things that I see in studio and in class. You want to feel like somebody's pulling your foam roller / wrists up to the ceiling. You're attached to a string coming up and down with control, especially on that lower. Control, control, control. Lift up dynamically, press down, 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 lift, down, 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 lift. 2 more. Keep using your arms and back and lats for posture control. Take your heels down, bring your foam roller all the way to the mat. Stepping your left foot forward, take your right foot back. Give yourself a stretch, use your wall, use whatever you need to give yourself resistance. Do a check here for your form. Your left knee is not over top of your heel. It is rather behind your heel. You're pushing your foot forward, trying to split the mat. So while my right foot is pushing back to stretch the calf, my left heel is pushing forward, and this is gonna create some resistance to the body. Again, this is all about training you to train yourself properly and to tap into that form. Contract your butt. From here, exhale, lift your heel up, take your arms, you're gonna reach all the way out. Left hand is gonna go underneath your right hand. You can grip and interlace your fingers should you want. Flex your right toes as hard as you can into your mat. Your body weight is long, your rib cage is knitted together. Arms, you're trying to get them right next to your temples. Left knee is right over top of the heel behind the ankle. Lower down, deep breath in through that right heel, exhale, press. The hips are sinking and lifting. They're not moving forward or back. Your left knee is staying static over top of your heel, and you can always use an object to support you if you need. Let's go for a last 2. Move slow, move with awareness. Tighten up your whole body, stretch it out. Exhale to lift, lift, lift. You're gonna take your left hand down onto the foam roller, right hand onto the hip, making sure that you have your foam roller a little bit more towards the side to balance you and stabilize you. Press on the floor, take your body all the way to vertical. Right leg comes into a position right in front of you, kneecap stacked in your hip. Flex and stretch, find your balance. Now right here, I want you to focus on, again, lengthening your spine. Lengthening your spine means noticing what's happening with your lumbar, especially because if this knee is too high and your hips are starting to sink forward, then you need to drop your thigh enough to keep your lumbar spine in that neutral posture. Your left hip is equal to the right, and your left leg is fully activated. The kneecap is long, and you are squeezing and contracting your butt. Feel your foot push down into the floor. Make that left leg totally turn on 100%. Keeping your right foot flexed, using whatever you need to balance. Take a full breath in. On your exhale, you're squeezing not just your left butt, but also your right, pushing your pelvis forward. As you do, very similar to how we worked in our back body, you're stretching the right leg forward. The ribs are still in relationship to the pelvis. As the pelvis moves forward, you give yourself a chance to lightly bend the left leg, push forward like you're pushing an object away, shoulders go back. You should feel this right across the front of your abdominal wall in your transverse. Also feel it in the front of that right quad and glute. Squeeze that left butt. So we want to train the pelvis to be mobile and to be stable. And that doesn't mean just working in one direction. It means getting in all 3 planes of movement. We've got transverse, we've got frontal, we've got sagittal. And right here, you're working in the full sagittal plane, pressing forward. Deep breath in. Hips stacked under ribs, squeeze your left butt, push your hips forward from your glutes. Your glutes are moving your hips. It's not your bones that are moving first. Your muscles contract against your bones, and that causes you to move. This movement doesn't have to be deep. As you press back, you're keeping your hips supported, ribs staying attached into the hips with the obliques. Take your right foot back down, find the floor. Take a stretch right here, reaching your right arm all the way out. Left hand can be on your wall, your foam roller, or on your hip. Press your right heel into the floor, and from here, taking your right arm, circling all the way out to the side. Your pinky finger goes into your waist. As you bring your arm down through center, your palm is up. You reach up, turn your palm down to the floor. Breathe in. Pinky to hip, exhale. Keep pulling your left hip back, pressing the floor down and away with your left heel. Again, using your left hand, you could also support your body by holding onto your ribs or feeling your shoulder, activating a little deeper by using the left hand to touch the part of your body that you want to turn on a bit more. For me, it's always my abs. So sometimes just by bringing my hand to my stomach wall, to my ribs, I can feel if I'm pushing out and if I'm flared or if I'm contracted. That right glute had better be on because the right leg is long. You're squeezing through the glute to extend through the hip. Last one from here. Take your right arm all the way up, palm to floor, stabilize with your left hand on your wall or your foam roller. Pitch your body weight all the way up off the ground. The left leg has a soft, tiny bend in it. The right leg is stretched. Keep your toes long. Keep reaching the right hand out. Left hand can be on the hip. Lower down and lift. No higher than where you can find that diagonal. Keep stretching the right arm, create that length through your obliques to your hip, all the way through the front of your leg, using your glute on that right side to stretch the leg out. You're gonna feel this work in the stability and support on your left side, which is why I keep cueing the right. We don't need to think more about the side that feels it right away. You need to think more about the side that doesn't feel it. Exhale, press down, down, down. Work through water and gain more control like you're pushing 30 pounds down into the floor and then reaching up and out of it. For 2, last one. Woo. Take your foot down to the floor. And from here, we're gonna take a quick stretch. Use the foam roller, use the wall as you need. Left foot over top of the right quad. Sit your hips back. Give yourself a stretch in the figure 4. Just note, it's the left supporting glute that we want to stretch. And when you come down to your figure 4, you want to make sure you're pushing your tailbone out, not tucking. The spine is so important. And usually a lot of issues that happen in tightness of the spine, you will be able to feel and indicate exactly what that is by going into stretches. We don't stretch enough, that's for sure. And when most people come to me and tell me they've been working out, they've been training hard, they've been eating clean, they've been getting their 8 hours of sleep, the number one thing they're missing is stretching. And stretching changes the body. You need to lengthen your muscles and not just work on shortening them. It's the number one thing that if I could go back in time and tell my 22-year-old self what to do to feel even better today, to move even healthier, and to have avoided injuries that I had, I would say, honey, stretch every day, 30 minutes. We're gonna set up for the second side right away, making sure that you have your support. Your right leg is gonna be your standing leg forward. Take your left leg back. Find right away the floor in the same position where you're activating through your left glute by pushing the left heel down. Now this is gonna in turn stretch your calf. Your right knee is stacked over top of your heel and you're pulling the right hip back. No one should be here with the knee over top of the ankle. You don't even wanna have your knee directly over the top of your ankle or your side ankle bone. I want you to have your knee over top of your heel. So it doesn't mean about switching your leg length. What you want to do is pull the right hip back, feel the opposition. You're pushing your right foot forward, you're pressing right away that left leg into the ground, activating the stretch. Using, if you need, the wall to support you. Feel free to use your hands on your hips or in the front of your body if you want to work your balance. And of course, if you want to have your hands on that foam roller to help support you in front, you can. From here, take a full breath in, and on your exhale, lift and lower left heel up and down. Your hips are coming up in center and dropping down. In center, you're not moving your weight forward or back. Take note. It's the left foot that pushes down, which if you create the elevator of control in your core, your right leg is adjusting because of what that back left leg is doing in the lift of the heel. So notice that. Train the feeling in your body. Train the movement quality. This doesn't just happen because you do it once. Try to get slower on that lower, like you're pushing weight into the ground. On your next one here, you're gonna keep your heel all the way up. Give yourself a moment to, again, reestablish your balance. You're gonna take your arms, reach them out. Have your right hand over top of your left. Interlace your fingers, take a full breath in. Now contract your left glute as you pull your right glute back and exhale, lift. Arms reach up, don't let your rib cage pop. That's something I feel for myself. And so I remind you here as I work out with you on camera. Deep breath in to lower and exhale. Contract that left glute. Keep stretching your ribs out on the diagonal you've created right here. Exhale, deep breath in. Shoulders back. Try to frame your eyes. Keep stretching your neck long. Don't get locked looking at the screen. Trust your body. These are simple movements at a base. They're just technically difficult because of how you have to hold and contract. Send your arms up. From here, you're gonna either use your foam roller or your wall. Make space, step all the way through, and from here, take your knee up onto that same alignment in parallel. Check that your hips are in a neutral pelvis, neutral spine. You're not tucking. Have your left hand wherever you wish as a means of support. You can use your wall, or again, you can use your foam roller. We're gonna flex and stretch the toes. Engage the right leg. Push your foot all the way down to the floor. Deep breath in and exhale. Stretching to awaken up the foot, but also turn on the abs. Notice if your left hip is higher than your right. I just noticed that, and I had to physically push my left hip down. That's a great way to modify not only your positioning, but give yourself a little counter resistance, push down. Now from here, you're gonna flex your left foot. Take a full breath in, squeeze your right glute. Contract it as hard as you can by pressing your foot into the floor. It's not enough just to be standing. You want to ground and you want to use your floor as resistance. On your exhale, you're going to stretch by pressing your hips forward, squeezing your glutes. That right leg goes out like it's pushing weighted resistance away. You're not arching your back as you go forward. You're contracting through your abs and through your glute, feeling resistance. As your hips go forward, your ribs keep that relationship. Exhale, navel to spine. Inhale and exhale, press, 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 reach. Again, notice what's happening in your body. You're not arching your back as you go out. Your hips are moving forward because your glutes are pushing your hips forward. You're pushing your bones into movement from contracting your muscles. Exhale, reach out, lengthen. Collarbones wide, feel this right across your midsection. That left leg doesn't go high, it presses away. One last time, deep breath in and exhale, stretch, reach, reach, reach. Smoothly, taking your leg all the way through center, reach it down, find your floor and reach your left arm all the way out. Have your right hand where you wish. And from here, inhale, pinky finger of that left hand comes all the way in towards your waist. You reach your palm forward, take that offering, lift all the way up. Look at your right knee, is it over top of the back of your heel? Palm to floor as you reach all the way back, shoulder away from ear. You're reaching away, you're extending your neck in length. Push that left heel into the floor. Engage your left butt. You're always engaging mentally and intentionally into the butt of the long leg to find the stretch. Try not to push too much into your calf. If you feel the stretch, narrow your legs off a little bit so it doesn't go to a place of strain. Deep breath in and exhale. Ribs knitted in. Go for that last one. Breathe in and exhale. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Contract your glute. Reach on out. Extend your left arm as long as you can, collarbones wide, roll your shoulders down and back. Using your wall or foam roller, pitch your weight forward, extend your left leg all the way out long, a full stretch through your kneecap. Make sure your glute is activated from the hips, staying parallel, the abs are pulled in. And from here, you're reaching all the way out, lower and lift, going no higher than where you can keep your body completely long on this diagonal. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Work with resistance on that lower. I want you to feel like you're pushing a heavy object down, keeping your hips up in opposition. This is gonna work your abs more and more. Use if you need balance and support of this movement. Right knee has a solid little bend in it. Your arm is higher than your leg and your leg is not going high. Go for a last set here of 3. Deep breath in, exhale for 2. Last one, extend all the way out. Find that reach, contract your left glute, abs pull in, and smoothly come all the way up. We're gonna step on back using your foam roller or taking your body into a rag doll down on the mat. Knees, tiny bend. Again, make sure you're not locking at your joints. We want to stretch muscles, not joints. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, unravel. Walk yourself all the way forward. Reach your arms all the way behind you and take a chest expansion stretch. From here, we're going to bring our foam roller all the way down to the ground. Setting up, if you ever need to have more support for your kneecaps, I definitely suggest to roll up your mat or grab a towel. And again, this is just a reminder. I don't always say it in every class, but if your knees are sensitive, I feel that for you, you will want to make sure that you have the right kind of padding. The floor that you're working out on, it might be a lot firmer than you realize. Never work where your joints are having to feel strain. Making your way all the way onto all fours. Take your hands onto your foam roller. Open up your chest, open up your arms. A little wider than your own natural shoulder width distance, knees stacked underneath your hip bones, collarbones wide, activate into your upper back. The way you can check in if that your upper back is activated by feeling a slight almost draw inwards. I'll always do this with my elbows. I bend them to the sides, I let my shoulders, I let everything relax. And then I envision that I'm squeezing my arms in towards my armpits, pulling my chest through. The foam roller, it is not stable. So this is part of the challenge if you're using it to find stability. Your neck is stretched over top of the foam roller, eyes are to the floor and mat. Your arms are anatomically positioned. You're in that collarbone width wide. Keep feeling right here that not only are you pressing down and firming into the floor through your upper body, but now that your shins are also pushing down. If your feet are not comfortable and you need to have flexed toes, flex your toes, and this might even help you engage more into your abs, because the more you push down without having your body lift, the more you ground, the more you will feel your core. I already feel my abs. Whew. Upper body set up for success. Take a full breath in. On your exhale, drag left leg all the way out, lift it off 2 inches from the mat. If you're higher on the foam roller, meaning if your upper body is like mine, it's higher than the knees on the floor. We're alternating a leg stretch. So you don't want to go up high with the leg, because this is what would happen. You would start to arch and you'd lose the parallel where your abs are working. So just note, when your upper body is higher than your hips and we're working in this parallel, your leg will go again onto that diagonal, where if I dropped a marble onto the very top of your neck, it would stretch all the way out, rolling down the diagonal slalom slope that you create through this extension. Now, this is not the same case if your hands are on your mat, because if your hands on your mat, your hands are level to your knees, so your leg would be stretching all the way out, lifting onto a hip parallel, toes reaching out. Inhale. Exhale, press, press, press. Deep breath in, lower, lower, lower. Exhale, stretch. So just take note in terms of where you're working today, where you're working from, to refine your technique. Now we've done enough reps. Go for your last one. Just feel that stretch. Reach on out, come all the way down. You're gonna swing your legs around, take your foam roller, and right away bring your foam roller into your hands, setting it up where you have equal amounts from top to bottom. You're gonna have your feet separated hip width distance. Scoot your tailbone to the center of your mat and smoothly lower down. Take your legs right away to tabletop. Reach your foam roller all the way in towards your inner thighs so you can catch it between your feet through your shins. Taking your hands from behind the nape of your neck, unless you prefer to have your arms flat at your sides, you're gonna open your chest. You're gonna take your upper body down. This is gonna help keep your neck long and keep your chest expansion. Squeeze into your foam roller, and from here, keeping the tightness as much as you can from your knees, just check that you do have some of your foam roller. Not all of you may have a foam roller that's as long as mine, and I promise I will leave the notes in the description box for this foam roller. But as we work here, you want to have the knees to shins fully formed so that this doesn't happen, so your foam roller doesn't fall. So have your feet flexed or pointed, but make sure you have a full connection to your thighs. I'm keeping you up here. Your inner thighs are already working. All I'm doing is explaining the form, which can be really annoying because it's like, okay, get on with it, get on with it. What are we gonna do? We're doing it. Let your brain work, calm yourself down. Things don't have to be impressive to make you work. And if anything, you want to hone in on your own inner Pilates Jedi, as I would call it, your inner Pilates guru, and find that calm in the chaos where your brain is telling you that you need to do something more. And I'm telling you right now to bring it back to your basics. Squeeze your body in. Make this look so easy to the audience that you are feeling the ultimate work in making something with effort look effortless. Take one more breath in. On your exhale, let your arms, if they were behind your head, release out. Nod on up, grab your foam roller, and from here, taking your foam roller, bring your feet down, re-grab your foam roller in center so that you have equal ends from front to back, centered into your hands, shoulders roll down. Now from here, you're gonna take your right leg all the way up. I want you to bring your foam roller through the center of your right leg down towards your left quad, stop your right knee right in a tabletop. And on your inhale, we pass through center of that foam roller. On your exhale, stretch back. Go back to feel your foam roller touch the floor. Bend and then stretch. Now, as you stretch back, this is the way in which you can make it harder for yourself. You will take your foam roller and you will have your hands more towards the very back so that as you take your foam roller back, you have more weight of the foam roller coming towards and away from your core and center. Exhale, shoulders down. Make sure your wrists don't do anything funky. Ooh, the longer the foam roller, the harder it is to control. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, take your left leg to tabletop and continue. However, if you feel your back has started to go to a place of strain or you can't firm into your stomach wall and hold your hips in a centered, neutral, or imprint if you need, then you can always have your left foot down. Last set of 2, exhale. Last one. Now from here, this is how we're gonna transition. Take your foam roller, bring it right back between the center of your legs, catch it, nod on up, have your hands behind the nape of your neck, push your head slightly into your hands to elongate your neck. Have your feet flexed or pointed, but choose something energized and energetic. Now from here, your foam roller, it's like a needle. You are going to be keeping your legs pressed into that needle, and from here, you're gonna start to shift your feet from right to left, knees and ankles and feet staying firmly held into that foam roller. Don't let your feet or knees separate. Keep your body moving as one. You can always modify with your upper back and chest down and work right here with your neck long. Just make sure your collarbones are wide. Feet don't lower past the knees. Deep breath in, exhale, squeeze. Feel this all the way through your core and go for a last set of 3. Last set of 2, last 1. From here, you're gonna take your thighs all the way through center. If you're up, you're up. Grab for your foam roller, taking your right foot down. Keep your left leg in tabletop. Nod your chin, neck, shoulders down. Activate right away in the choice position you want, either harder up towards the end of your roller where you have more of it sticking out towards your leg, or holding more in center to modify. Shoulders roll back and down. Take a full breath in. Wrap your fingers around the foam roller. Exhale as you stretch out, hips stay stable. Start the reps here first to get the movement quality where your right foot is on the floor. You want to move slow, and this shouldn't be fast. You're trying to find your form from the 2 levers. The arms we've lengthened with that roller. Rib cage staying knitted in. Tailbone heavy, you're in neutral pelvis because you have what we call a closed connection. One foot's on the floor. As soon as that foot would lift up and off the ground, you'd be in an open connection, which means you could do imprint spine. Noting that in your body, making sure that the left knee is always stopping in tabletop. Choose right here. If you want to take the right leg up into tabletop, it stabilizes. You breathe in, shoulders down. Exhale, keep extending that left leg out. The foam roller is stretching right towards the center of your thighs. Stop your arms right over top of your sternum or ribs so that you're always getting your foam roller fully horizontal, parallel to the floor and ceiling. Exhale. Ribs knitted in. Exhale, reach for a last set of 2. Woo! Deep breath in. Calm down your last one. Exhale, stretch smoothly. Take your leg all the way back in, and from here, using the foam roller as a means of support and also momentum. Take a full breath in And exhale, lift on up. From here, you're gonna take your foam roller all the way behind your back. What you're gonna wanna do is bring it down where you have just around the base of your shoulder blades on the foam roller so that your elbows can stabilize you coming onto the outside of the foam roller. Now, modification for this movement could be either with a Pilates mini stability ball behind your back. Your hands might be here. You might even have your stability ball right around your mid-spine with your elbows down on the floor. Third modification is exactly as I am. Elbows are down, hands come into the glutes to help support that natural little curl into an imprint spine. You've got the floor to stabilize you. So choosing the position as you have or don't have equipment today, and just take note in terms of how you feel, because even if you have equipment, you might choose an option that feels better. You're gonna have right away that connection with your ground, toes fully planted. Make sure you don't just have the heels. Walk your legs all the way in and close the gap, knees squeezing in tight. Take a full breath in. If you're here with the foam roller, exhale, drive your elbows down and feel how your chest is stretching. That's the one thing about the foam roller. Neck is elongated, eyes looking not forward to the knees, but rather stretching out, looking a little further away. You're gonna keep your knees squeezed in, extend, and alternating one leg off from the floor, coming down, and then reaching out, again, keeping your knees totally squeezed. So it's almost like you're in the shortest mermaid tail of your life. Your mermaid tail is from your hip bones to your knees, and the ends of your mermaid tail, I guess you would say the fins, those are from shin to toes. What's happening right here? You're lengthening one fin at a time. Exhale and inhale. Keep elongating your neck and driving your elbows down to the floor if you have the foam roller. And if your neck ever feels like it's getting a little bit too fatigued, change your position. We're gonna go for our last set here of 4. Exhale, squeeze your legs in center. Exhale for 3. Last set of 2. Last 1. Take your legs and from here, stretch all the way out. If you have your foam roller, roll over top it, move it out of the way, place it to the side of your mat. You're gonna come all the way down onto your back, take your knees all the way up into a tabletop, take your upper body down, and right here, just moving with the arms first, breathe in, stack your shoulders, exhale, stretch down, find the floor. Inhale, stack your shoulders, plug down, exhale, find the floor back. Your collarbones are wide. We're gonna add the legs. You're gonna take the arms forward, stretch your left leg forward as you reach, pull back, and as you stretch your right leg forward, the arms reach back. So we're alternating legs, keeping the arm movement the same. Nice little bit of coordination. Inhale, if ever it's too much, take this coordination out. Collarbones wide, ribs knitted in. Inhale, exhale, stretch. Let's go for a last one. Reset with just the arms. Inhale, exhale. Neck long, shoulders plugged down. Feel the presence of your upper back in that mat. Now we're gonna add on our coordination through our thighs. Keep your thighs in tabletop. Arms reach up, breathe in. Now right leg stretches out as your arms go down. Pull in slow, stack in center, left leg reaches out, arms go back. Getting both directions, bringing in all that focus through your abs, controlling both directions. Don't move fast when you bend and exhale. If it changes your arm engagement, to fist your hands together or to take your thumbs up to ceiling to help any rotational issues, play around with your arms right here. We're gonna go for our last 2. Breathe in. Last 1. Exhale, reach back, back, back. Nod yourself all the way up into a little ball. Grab your knees in towards your chest. Inhale. Exhale, right away, roll all the way up. Swing your legs around, and from here, take your foam roller. Bring your foam roller to the center of your mat. Walk your shins onto your foam roller. Take your hands and open them up about collarbone width wide. You want to make sure that your toes are flexed and that you have the feeling that you're using the floor, that you're using your arms and lats, you're using your core. The foam roller is supporting you just slightly, but really ensuring more so to keep you level. Take a full breath in and exhale, walk it out, stretching one leg at a time. If you're not using the foam roller, you do this from the mat. You could always use a yoga block also underneath each shin as that reminder. You could also roll up a towel. The goal is really to keep the friction and the force of the shin that's staying planted in the space of that foam roller or object or even floor, to keep it pushed down to help your abs stay firmed on and up. The leg is stretching from the hip. Exhale, flex, press. Now start to inch your upper body forward. Ooh, feel this to your core. Exhale, so much opposition and work today. Exhale, reach. Last set of 2. Neck forward, lats engaged. Finish your last one. Deep breath in and stretch, stretch, stretch. Calm your body first. Don't rush out of this. If it feels best to walk your legs forward, walk forward, or any way, shape, or form that feels best to come off your foam roller, listen to your body. You're going to keep your foam roller behind you, palms face forward, knees open about hip width distance, maybe even mat width wide. Roll your shoulders down. You can do this from the floor also if you need. You're going to stabilize by rounding your hands into your foam roller. Squeeze your glutes on up and stretch your hips, stretch your upper chest. Release your tailbone down, lengthen your lumbar, shoulders press down, arms stabilize. You don't want your foam roller rolling away, so don't use it if you feel that it's a real challenge to stay stable. The goal is to stretch through the fronts of your shoulders, your chest, your hips, while you can also activate the butt to do that action. So when you squeeze your butt, again, I've been talking about it so much here on my channel, when you get your glutes engaged, you stretch and you open up your hips. Deep breath in, go for one more. Keep aligning your head up with your spine. And exhale, squeeze your glutes, press your arms down, open up to your shoulders. Release all the way down. From here, you're gonna softly walk your body all the way around. Take your foam roller all the way back into a vertical position. Again, listen to your knees if your knees need a bit of support to help stabilize you. And if you're feeling any digging sensation in your patella, your bone into the ground, roll your mat. You can use a wall, and if you are using a wall, you're gonna wanna make sure it's on that left side. You're gonna be stepping your right foot forward, and if you have the foam roller, you're able to push off just a little bit from your axis. Contract the left butt. Why? Because we're pushing our hips forward. So when that glute contracts, again, what happens? The hip extends. From here, take a full breath in, and exhale, come all the way back up. So as you come down, you want to first find the floor, contract your left glute to move your hip forward. You're stretching in opposition with your shoulders down if you're using that foam roller, and then bringing that foam roller back into a vertical. Use it as resistance. Right knee comes underneath your hip. If ever you felt better, to flex the left foot to help find that support for you in the ground, flex it. And by now, if you're feeling, oh yeah, this is that one time where I'm really digging, beauty about working on YouTube and on demand is that you can press pause, figure out your space, add anything you need for the support, come back into it. Go for a last one, stepping right foot forward. Contract that left glute, contract it, pull your right hip back. Train your body correctly, don't let yourself cheat. Switching, feel the difference in your balance. Left leg goes forward, right leg. Right away, contracting through the glute, feel that stretch through your hip. You can have your right toes flexed or shin down. I like to play around and change the position of my foot so that I'm always working in different ways according to how I'm feeling challenged and best served. Now, you don't want to overly crease into your hips when you come down into your stretch, but same relationship. As your ribs go forward, your hips are going down and back. The left knee is over top of your heel. You're not pushing it forward. You're contracting to that right glute while extending your torso forward so that you can get length to happen from posterior engagement to open up the hip. Butt flexes, hip stretches. And this is literally the exact same movement we did at the very, very start. It's just in a different position. We're now on the ground from where we were standing. Flex that right butt, pull the left hip back, hold for a second, and then smoothly come all the way home. If your foam roller is stable and you can lift your arms up, flex your glutes, stretch, reach. Try to feel like you're reaching to touch the ceiling. Your eyes are forward, your ribs are stacked over your hips. Engage your abs by making sure the ribs aren't flared and the body isn't starting to go into any overarch. You're also not tucking. I want your glutes to be engaged without pushing your hips into any kind of imprint. Think of reaching, lengthening. Holding from here, take a full breath in. Shoulders up to ears, reach a little longer. It's like somebody's about to pull you up off the floor. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Let go, release, hips down, and right away, last time stretching through the front of your body, contract your glutes, hands to floor, lift on up. If it doesn't feel good, to add your neck, keep your eyes forward, breathe in, hips down, exhale, squeeze the glutes. Your glutes are taking your hips up. Don't try to work from your arms. Work from your butt, squeeze the butt. Feel how that changes right away. Your quadriceps in their contraction, their stretch. Push your shins down, open up through your chest. Go for one more inhale. Squeeze between your shoulder blades. Hips aligning with ribs, open. Take your hips down. Smoothly bring your body up. And when you're ready, coming to standing. Thank you so much for joining me for this class using the foam roller. Regardless of whether or not you used it or even use it for all the exercises, this is the kind of training that really does bring in such incredible changes in your body when you're able to find that stretch, that opposition, and that control and precision in where your hips and ribs are aligned, your abs start to change. Thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed this class, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them for me in the comment section below. I love getting to know you. If this is your first time on Burn Pilates and you want to join me weekly for classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, classes with choice, allowing you to personalize your Pilates practice, click subscribe. Share with a friend, share with a family member, share with anyone you think would like these kinds of classes. There's a lot of variety here. Guys, have an awesome morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I look forward to seeing you at the next burn.